President Donald Trump's FBI has carried out a search of an election office in Fulton County, Georgia, to pursue Trump's unfounded and false claims that there was widespread election fraud, which led to his loss in 2020. The year is currently 2026. The current president of the United States is Donald J. Trump, who won the 2024 election. If I were in his shoes, I personally would not embarrass myself by still harping on 2020, especially since the Trump campaign in 2020 lost literally dozens of court cases where they challenged the results of the 2020 election. Nonetheless, here we are in January, late January of 2026, and you have the FBI essentially raiding this election office in Fulton County, Georgia. Now, this is a developing story. I'm sure more details will come out in the coming days, but here's what we know so far. So the FBI said in a brief statement that its agents executed a warrant at the Fulton County Election Hub and Operations Center in Union City and called it a court-authorized law enforcement activity. They claim that they have a warrant. Obviously, in order to get a judge to sign off on a warrant, there needs to be probable cause. So I'm super curious to learn more about how this all came about. Because if there's real justification here to do a raid, then okay, there's justification to do the raid. We don't know what that justification is quite yet. As we are talking about this at this moment, these are the details we know. A law enforcement official told Reuters that the FBI agents were looking to seize computers and ballots that they believed were held at the facility as part of an investigation into possible election interference. Now, again, they claim that they had a warrant. The warrant sought a number of records related to 2020's elections, the Fulton County government said in a brief statement. So I wouldn't take the Trump administration's word for it if they say that they had a warrant to do this, but I will take the Fulton County government's word for it. They obviously want to see the warrant. They were presented with a warrant. So as a result, they had to allow the FBI to carry out this search. Now, the FBI search was conducted a week after Trump warned everyone that he's looking to, dabble in a little more lawfare, if you will. And he embarrassingly talked about this during his lengthy speech at Davos last week. Let's take a quick look at what he had to say.
It's a war that should have never started, and it wouldn't have started if the 2020 US presidential election weren't rigged. It was a rigged election. Everybody now knows that. They found out. People will soon be prosecuted for what they did.
Will they? So we'll see. I mean, again, in order to get a warrant from a judge, there needs to be something, some probable cause. And so unless the judge is so crooked that he or she will do the bidding of the Trump administration, that's a possibility too. We're just gonna have to wait and see. Again, this story is developing as we speak. Now, the Democratic-leaning county home to Atlanta backed Biden by a wide margin in the 2020 election, helping him win the state and the presidency. Trump unsuccessfully sought to overturn the result, pressuring the state's top election official to find him votes that would allow him to claim victory. And if you don't remember that, here is the interaction that Trump had with Brad Raffensperger, who was the election official he asked to do him a little favor, if you will.
The ballots are corrupt, and you're going to find that they are, and which is totally illegal. It's more illegal for you than it is for them, because you know what they did and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense. All I want to do is this: I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
Wow, what a specific number. 11,780. That's all I need you to do. I just need you to find these votes for me so I can claim victory in your state. Obviously, Raffensperger did not do that. And that drew the ire of not just Trump, but everyone who tends to support Trump and provide cover for his bad behavior. Now, on top of that, earlier this month, Trump asked a state court for $6.2 million in legal fees he said he spent fighting criminal charges of election interference filed by the county's top prosecutor, Fani Willis. Now, that prosecution went nowhere because Fani Willis was irresponsible and decided to engage in a romantic affair with the lead prosecutor, and that basically destroyed the entire case. So congratulations, Fani, you did great. You did great. You did great. And for everyone who got mad at me for being furious with Fani Willis about this as it was happening, are you still mad at me, or are you going to take a moment to maybe reconsider whether or not you're going to support the fact that Fani Willis played games with an incredibly important case? Because that's what actually happened. Now, the Trump administration separately began a lawsuit last month to get a hold of Fulton County's 2020 ballots, all of them. By the way, just as a side note, Attorney General Pam Bondi essentially sent a letter to political leadership in Minnesota, making it clear that there are certain demands from the Trump administration if they want ICE and Border Patrol to maybe rein it in a little bit. And they wanted the ballots. They wanted the ballots. So that's another example of the Trump administration trying to shake down a state and demand ballots. But in this case, we're talking about Georgia, Fulton County in particular. The administration has asked a federal judge to order Che Alexander, the Fulton County's court clerk, to hand over physical ballot stubs and absentee ballot envelopes for the 2020 general election. This month, Alexander responded and asked the court to dismiss this lawsuit because the ballots are not something that she can just decide willy-nilly to show or give to anyone. It's under seal of state law. And she says that the administration should instead ask the county superior court for an order to unseal them. It's unclear if there were any other developments after that. But the point here is we have a country that is just drowning in chaos and all sorts of problems that have not been dealt with at all by Donald Trump and his administration. And at the same time, he is instead using up our resources and harping on a 2020 election loss when he is now the current president of the United States. That's what we're dealing with. And that's why I say he's a petty bitch. That's what a petty bitch would do. It is what it is. It's embarrassing.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.